So Secular Proton is asking, I don't know if we can ask questions before the Ask Us Anything stream as well, which he clearly can because he did. And we're taking it first. So thank you, Secular Proton. But I have one, he's saying. What are your thoughts on returning the Gaza Strip to Egyptian control? I know that Egypt doesn't want the region anymore, but it might be better for everyone given the amount of radicalism in Gaza.
Right. So here's the thing, okay? Ali, can you mute yourself when I'm talking because I can hear some echo?
Sure.
This question assumes that people want to solve the situation, okay? When it comes to solutions on how to figure out like how to resolve the entire mess between Israel and Palestinians, there are so many good options, okay? First, but there's no will. There's no the people that are in the decision-making process, they are in favor of strategies that absolutely make things worse. Like even in this one, in the example that you give, well, you just acknowledge yourself that Egypt doesn't want Gaza back, right? Egypt doesn't want Gaza back. All the far-right parties in Israel don't want all the solutions that will make the situation much better. The far-right parties in Israel, which are in charge and seem to continue to be in charge even without Netanyahu, they're not in favor of all policies that will resolve the situation. In fact, they're in favor of policies that will make the situation even worse. And also Hamas, also the same thing, right? So, and also the Islamic Republic of Iran. So why are they idiots? Are they? No, they're not. Peace is not really what the goal here is, right? So people are like, oh, if we want peace, this is how we get to it. Yeah, of course. There's so many. It's not just this and that. There's so many obvious things to do here. But the question is like, do people ask themselves, well, do they want peace? Because they don't, right? Maybe before we even figure out how do we get to peace, maybe you should ask, well, are the people who want that even in charge? Because they're not, right? So what's the point of saying like, well, if we do this and this and this, things will be resolved, when we know that the people who make the decisions are not in favor of those things. Like, as long as they're in charge, none of those things are going to happen, right? Ali, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that there's any will for it. I think that the intentions of everybody are like Gaza. Hamas runs Gaza, right? Pretty much, and there are a lot of Gazan people who are complaining about Hamas all the time. Like, we hear from them all the time. At least I do. And Hamas has just this agenda that's beyond just Palestinian liberation. They want to. It's an anti-Semitic agenda. They want to destroy the Jews overall, not just Israel. I mean, they just have a huge problem with it. On the other hand, a lot of the Arab countries, they want to use Gaza and they want to use the Palestinians as a way to put up a front against Israel. This is just something and to make Israel look really bad and look like and make them a pariah on the world stage. So, this is these people being used. I mean, if you grow up in the Arab world, if you've lived in Saudi Arabia, if you lived in Egypt, if you lived in any of these places, the way that they talk about Palestinians. Palestinians are considered like the scum of the Arab world. They actually treat them very badly, the way they're looked down upon everywhere. So, I mean, they don't take any Palestinian refugees. The other thing is Egypt controls the southern border of Gaza. If they want to, there's all these bombings happening, all these children dying in Gaza, and you get all of this stuff from Egyptian activists. They're talking about, and from people all over the world. All the Muslims are really upset. Like, look at these images of dying children. But they won't open the border and take in refugees. They can. They control the southern border of Gaza. They share the border with them.
Everybody talks about the blockade on Gaza when it comes to Israel, but they don't talk about the same thing when it comes to Egypt doing the same thing to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're treating them like, if Egypt's government is treating the Palestinians like this, obviously this is not a mess they want to deal with. Why would they come and be like, oh yeah, let's take this whole thing that the whole world is trying to solve and is not able to solve? Why would Egypt step in and is like, okay, let's take this mess and make it our problem? Of course, they don't want to make that their problem. Like, they're not going to do that. Okay,
the Palestinians have more sympathizers in the United States and in Western Europe than they do in the Arab world. Period.
And
It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what their stance is. Doesn't matter what the posturing is.
Well,
and all
and
this stuff.
Islamic Republic of Iran is the main supporter, state supporter.
Right. That's the main state supporter. But none of the Arab countries are. That's just,
Right.
there's no will. So Armin, absolutely right. I agree with you.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.